In adolescence, friends begin to have greater influence over decision-making than parents. As they go through adolescence, children form cliques, small groups of friends who share activities and confidences. In mid-adolescence, kids strive for peer approval and to impress their closest friends. Adolescents who maintain delinquent friends are more likely to engage in antisocial behavior and drug abuse. There are a number of theoretical views on the peer-delinquency linkage. According to the control theory approach, delinquents are as detached from their peers as they are from other elements of society. Delinquent friends cause law-abiding youth to get in trouble. Antisocial youths join up with like-minded friends. Deviant peers sustain and amplify delinquent careers. Gangs are groups of youths who engage in delinquent behaviors. Members have self-recognition of their gang status and use special vocabulary, clothing, signs, colors, graffiti, and names. There is a commitment to criminal activity, although even the most criminal gang members spend the bulk of their time in non-criminal activities. Gangs first formed in the 1600s. London was terrorized by organized gangs that called themselves Hectors, Bugles, Dead Boys, and other colorful names. Gangs appeared in America in the late 1780s, when prison reformers noted the presence of gangs of young people hanging out on Philadelphia's street corners. In the 19th century, gangs were common in New York's Bowery and Five Point districts, Boston's North End and Fort Hill, and the outlying sections of Philadelphia. In the 1950s and early 1960s, the threat of gangs and gang violence swept the public consciousness. By the mid-1960s, the gang menace seemed to have disappeared, only to re-emerge in the 1970s. Gang formation was the natural consequence of the economic and social dislocation that occurred when the economy shifted from a relatively high-paying manufacturing to low-wage service economy. At recent count, there are an estimated 750,000 gang members in the United States. Traditionally, gangs have operated in large urban areas, experiencing rapid population change. Because of redevelopment, gangs in some areas have relocated or migrated. Gang members have organized new chapters when they relocate to new areas. The number of female gang members and female gangs is rapidly increasing. There are a variety of reasons why girls join gangs, including but not limited to financial opportunity, identity and status, peer pressure, family dysfunction, and protection. Many girls join gangs in an effort to cope with their turbulent personal lives. Ganging can provide girls with a sense of sisterhood, independence, and solidarity, as well as a chance to earn profit through illegal activities. Once in gangs, girls form close ties with other female members and engage in group criminal activity. The ethnic distribution of gangs corresponds to their geographic location. The first black youth gangs were organized in the early 1920s. Latino gangs, such as MS-13, have continued to grow and now constitute the largest number of gangs and gang memberships. White gang members are often alienated middle-class youths rather than poor lower-class youths. Some gangs specialize in drug dealing. Youth gangs are responsible for a disproportionate number of homicides. Research indicates that gang violence is impulsive and therefore happens in spurts. Violence is a core fact of gang formation and life. There are a number of views of gang formation. The anthropological view is that gangs appeal to adolescents longing for the tribal process that sustained their ancestors. Hand signs and graffiti have a tribal flavor. Sociologists have commonly viewed the destructive socio-cultural forces in poor inner-city areas as the major cause of gang formation. Conditions of enemy alienation encourage gang formation on both a cultural and individual level. Some believe that gangs serve as an outlet for disturbed youths who suffer from a multitude of personal problems and deficits. Some youths may make a rational choice to join a gang. A number of states have created laws specifically designed to control gang activity. Police departments have responded by creating specialized gang control units. Detached street workers were social workers who go out into the community and establish close relationships with juvenile gangs. Today, outreach programs are still being used. Another approach has been to involve schools in gang control programs. The school environment has been found to have a significant effect on a child's emotional well-being. Young people rely increasingly on school friends and become less interested in adult role models. The school has become a primary determinant of economic and social status. The United States trails other nations in critical academic areas such as math and science. Many children are at risk for educational problems, school failure, and delinquency. School failure is a stronger predictor of delinquency than variables such as economic class membership, racial or ethnic background, or peer group relations. Tracking, dividing students into groups according to ability and achievement level, may be a contributor to school failure. Students who report they neither like school nor care about their teachers' opinions are more likely to exhibit delinquent behaviors. Kids who feel isolated and alone with little parental attention may be the most prone to alienation and substance abuse. Shooting incidents typically occur around the start of the school day, the lunch period, or the end of the school day. Most attacks are neither spontaneous nor impulsive. Shooters typically develop a plan of attack well in advance. Many shooters have a history of feeling extremely depressed or desperate because they have been picked on or bullied. Almost every school attempts to restrict entry of dangerous persons by having visitors sign in before entering, and most close the campus for lunch. Most schools control access to school buildings by locking or monitoring doors. Schools use random metal detector checks and one or more security cameras to monitor the school. Some schools are now employing uniformed police officers on school grounds, typically called a school safety officer. The U.S. Supreme Court has sought to balance the civil liberties of students with the school's mandate to provide a safe environment. Educators can legally search students when there are reasonable grounds to believe the students have violated the law or broken school rules. However, the search must be reasonable, and there are limits to how far school officials can go when searching students. Children have the right to free speech in school, as long as it does not interfere with the educational process. Ingraham v. Wright upheld the right of teachers to use corporal punishment.